One thing that completely blew my mind when I first played Modern Warfare 2019 was the mission structure. I enjoyed the slow pace and realism that so many of the missions carry. And I say realism in the most novice of ways, as I am very much clearly not an active service member. But to a person that watches a lot of war films and plays the occasional war game, it seemed realistic enough to me. However, there's actually quite a lot of different missions that I could probably choose from when it comes to this particular game regarding structure, pace, set piece, and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna highlight the most obvious one. And really, it's because I fell in love with it. And of course, it's the universally praised Clean House. Now, a quick background before I played this game for the very first time, I didn't know anything about the love for this mission at all. It was completely new to me, so I didn't have any preconceived notions about the mission itself. I hadn't seen anything online or anything like that. All the reactions to the mission came natural, and I felt that it was a really cool mission. That if I'm being honest, I tackled like an idiot the very first time that I played because I almost got myself killed and Captain Price shot. So I began to think I should probably try this again and maybe play it slower the way that it's intended to be experienced. And after I finished the game, I realized that there was actually a lot of love for this particular mission, and even experts or actual military personnel commented on what was realistic about the mission and what wasn't. So I kind of dove into this rabbit hole of Clean House. Well, 5 years later, I suddenly got the itch to play it again. But not only do I want to play it and experience it, I want to go a little deeper and find out how it was made and how Infinity Ward crafted such an incredible mission. Thank you for joining me, and let's go a little deeper into Clean House. The information I've gathered here comes from an interview with Zaid Reek, the gameplay director for Modern Warfare 2019 and other developers of the game. This interview was conducted via the YouTube channel GameBrain, and I have linked his entire video in the description below. In that video, you can hear the director himself and the other developers talk about the game and their process. Well, according to this interview, Zaid explained that the original Clean House was supposed to be much bigger and more in line with the arcadey style of mission structure that Call of Duty had really been known for. He went into detail regarding the original idea. He said there were two iterations of the mission. You actually started out on the street level in an APC vehicle, and you were going in through a garage, getting to an overlooked position to look down at the townhouse. And then you transition down to the townhouse to its backyard. Then you'd have to go through a bigger townhouse. So if they would have remained or stuck with this premise, the level wouldn't have been as memorable or even as impactful as it was for the Call of Duty series. The gameplay director Zaid would also add, we were using a lot more core AI covered based shooting, and we just couldn't figure out how to make this work and how to make it fun. According to the team at Infinity Ward, the mission looked pretty and was well designed, but they opted to get rid of it entirely and start from scratch, creating a completely new layout for the mission and even a completely new layout for the house itself. The campaign design director, Jacob Minkoff, stated that they consulted with Navy SEALs heavily on this particular mission to make it as realistic as possible. He would also go on to add that their motion capture arena was so big that they were able to build all 3 floors of the townhouse in Clean House. And they actually had the Navy SEALs they were working with clear each level like they would in a real combat situation. Because of this, the mission itself feels so unique and has the right amount of operators inside of it, and that is why the mission potentially may feel different than anything you had ever played before. The developers also talked about the scripting of the mission itself. They stated that Clean House was probably more scripted than the entire campaign of Modern Warfare 2019, or even more than the entire previous trilogy combined. They said that although the mission average itself is only about 8 minutes long, everything that you see happen and how the characters in the level react was uniquely crafted for Clean House only. And I think this makes the mission great, and there's actually a lot of replayability to it because you can tackle it in different ways and get different kills from different angles. I really enjoyed that aspect about this particular mission, and I like the fact that there's not many enemies because it doesn't overwhelm you, and you can enjoy the build-up or the process of the mission. Lastly, I think what made Clean House so special was the love that the team had for the game itself and wanting to create something completely new, essentially a one-of-one, and Jacob Minkoff said this about the design of the mission. When asked what he wanted to do differently for Clean House so it didn't seem like any other night raid mission from previous games or other games that try and tackle this concept. He would go on to say, any studio that have tried to show what it's like to do a night raid or to clean a house, they all scale up. The geometry, they all do what we call video game scale, which is about 30% larger than the real world scale. You do that for a lot of reasons. You do it because a pathfinding is complicated and needs a lot of space to do it in. So for reasons like that, levels are usually scaled up until the AI has reasonable size, piece of nav mesh in addition to the gutters that keep them from clipping through the sides of the wall. There's a bunch of crazy reasons why everything gets scaled up, and we said forget about all that we know and all the reasons why everything is always scaled up. It's way too hard to do any of this stuff, which is why people don't do it. But we are going to do it. Now, I'm not a video game designer, so I would assume that all of that means that it was a big task to even attempt the creation of the mission. But the fact that they tried it and they succeeded at it and it was universally praised, I think they made the right decision. And it really lets me know why this damn mission feels so awesome, and it has stayed with me since I've played it. The love and the passion that the development team put towards this mission and this campaign as a whole was amazing, and every other developer that works on Call of Duty should see this as an example to follow. Now, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me as we look to uncover some of the details behind the creation of Clean House in Modern Warfare 2019. Now, once again, I will recommend you watch the full 14-minute interview on the gaming channel Game Brian if you haven't already, as you'll be able to hear from the developers themselves. Now, what's your favorite mission in Call of Duty? Maybe we can cover another one in our next video.
We've got a location on the Wolf.